Welcome back, folks, to the real grim lands of Terra. Last session, we began with Coralia, who appeared in a sea of stars alone, save, of course, for the voice of Choom in her head. As Cori struggled to breathe in this void, her mind intermingled with Choom's, allowing her to call on his arcane knowledge to cast an air bubble, saving herself from suffocating. From there, the dynamic wizarding duo set their minds to using Cori's flesh and tattoos to create a teleportation circle. So
He
that they
doesn't
could
get any
return
of the credit
to
for that.
material
That he
plane.
doesn't get any of the credit for that. Thank you very much.
Listen. Is teleportation circle in Cori's spellbook? I rest my case. Meanwhile, back on Le Grifoni Grignande, Dandin, Elias, and John all watched as a mote of shifting light and magic, no larger than a grain of sand, appeared in the spot that Cori once occupied and began pulsing wild magical energy. Realizing that this orb represented a very serious threat to not only everyone on board, but also the ship itself, Dandin worked with Adea to try and guide the orb off of the deck, while John rushed to the helm and started steering the ship to the shore. Back in the Astral Sea, Cori became aware of a presence watching her as she worked on the teleportation circle. As she gazed out into the void, a four-armed silhouette that was not Aeon, I cannot stress that enough, emerged, claiming that a time of rebirth, renewal, and revenge was approaching. As she looked out, Cori beheld not just a lost pantheon of elder divines, but a void lurking between their stellar forms. And as she gazed into this abyss, it gazed back at her. With the orb of wild, annihilating magic continuing to grow in size and devastation, Elias abandoned ship with the rest of the crew, while John struggled to steer it, and Dandin and Adea fought to try and keep the orb under control. After Adea lost an arm to the magic, and Dandin was knocked unconscious, things were looking rather grim. Having just completed the teleportation circle, it was at this moment that Cori reappeared in the center of this orb. And just as Cori's body was about to be unmade in front of everyone's eyes, the Lady of Mercy, Dandin's patron and John's redeeming light, carried out one final act of mercy, sacrificing herself to save the wizard. In the aftermath of this tragedy, the survivors washed up on the shores near the Rockteeth Mountains. Cori used her magic to summon a tower for the party to take shelter in and grieve and recuperate from a harrowing journey. And that is where we are now. As a new day dawns, it is a gray and bleak day. Rain falls outside at a steady pace, and the sun can barely be seen behind the heavy clouds that cover the sky as far as anyone can see. With the sounds of rain rousing you all from your sleep, what do you do? Cori.
I would like to, before everyone wakes up, in the bleak moments of the morning, come downstairs and make everyone breakfast. And everyone would wake to the smell of bacon and sausage, fry oil, the sizzle of potatoes, the crack of the fire running.
Smells of a hearty and certainly tasty breakfast. Wake everyone.
Where is Dandon?
Where is Gambit?
Dandon is not in the little. I think you left them on the couch with the blanket. They're not there.
Are they like in the like hammock with all the stuffed animals and stuff? So like not in the tower.
Not immediately visible.
Corey, as you're looking around, go ahead and give me a perception check.
I'm not actively doing anything, so I think over a 10 will be fine.
Jesus, that's a big dice bag.
You know what they say about big dice bags?
You know what they say about big dice bags.
Big dice.
Five. Corey, you look around. Dandon remains unseen.
I will start walking over to the like cabinets on the wall and start opening things quickly.
Growing a little bit more frantic as you continue searching in the cabinets, the bangs of them perhaps waking the rest of the tower's occupants. Dandon, are you in any of the cabinets?
Nah.
Nah. Dandon remains elusive.
I will stop and breathe before walking back to the food and plating a large amount of food onto a very wide plate and walking over to John and presenting it to his waking self.
Hey, Corey, what's your passive perception?
11.
When you head over to John, there's a shield tipped up against the wall, and there's a small bit of yellow scarf poking out from underneath the shield.
I will present the food to John and make note of the scarf.
I didn't know you could cook.
I'm a witch. Of course I can cook. How do you think I lure men back into my bed so I can steal their souls?
Well, I don't think I heard you lace it with anything.
Not like anything easy would be able to kill you anyway. I will, kind of tiptoe over to the shield. And squat down. Anything you want to do, Jacob?
John just thanks Corey for the food. She starts heading off. And sleepily just starts eating.
You don't have to come out. But can you try and eat something small? I will rush over to the kitchen area and come back with a piece of buttered bread and set it in their hand. We don't have a lot of time before the tower dissipates. I just want to let you know that.
Okay.
I'll get you before it does.
Okay.
I will go and get a large amount of meat and take it over to Elias's, like, alchemy table. I made him a terrarium. The lizard man.
A lizard?
Right. Didn't notice that.
Nani?
Didn't
None this.
notice you there.
Well, I mean, that is understandable. Both you and John are towering, so.
Is this for me?
Yes. If we're going to be walking the rest of the way, we will need as much energy as possible. Unfortunately, I don't have access to teleportation magic.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Been distracted, but call me when you need me.
Will do. I will, then get a very large cup of coffee. And sit, on the... What was that?
Is the kid all right?
No. But... she can get through it. She doesn't have to be alright right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't...
Nods. Right.
I don't think any of us have to be alright right now.
He just presses his lips and nods.
I will go get a large cup of coffee and sit on the floor. She is like actively avoiding the couch.
Mm-hmm.
Blake, is my hand still messed up? Because I had some magical healing and some sleep, but I don't know what all the process was to get that dealt with.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll me a... Go ahead and roll me a D100.
Uh, 86.
Your hand is sore, certainly. As you move your fingers, they're not quite as dexterous as they usually are. But you have use of it.
Dandon eats the food and kind of starts to extricate out from underneath the shield. Not just sliding out and just keeping leaned up against the wall. And for the brief moment that it's all visible, the burn marks around the eyes and the mouth haven't subsided very much. So it's still kind of dry and crackled and burned looking, and the hair is still missing. But as I come out from behind the shield, the old standby, the hood goes up and the scarf is wrapped around my face, and it's just the eyes that are visible. And I just stay huddled down and wait until it's time to leave.
After Corey takes place on the floor, and John notices that, he'll stand up and he'll set his food on the little side table. I think you said there was one. Just muttering, "Well, that's not gonna do." And he extends a hand down to her wherever she's sitting. Come on.
You're oddly chipper.
Somebody needs to be.
I don't... She will stand and sit in his armchair. And the armchair is so big. Because John is a massive man. And this armchair is big for him. So she is tiny in it.
John is also wearing plate armor.
Yeah.
And after she sits in the chair, John will flop himself feet up onto the side, onto like the arm, onto the couch, and just take his plate back and resume eating.
He wouldn't want us to waste it.
I need to tell you all something. When we were talking to Captain Capitalism and Marencia, I lied. When I said that the box was jostled and it caused the Iron Stone to rupture. I opened the box. And if I hadn't opened the box, Grizzle would still be here. We wouldn't know each other. None of this last 4 days would have happened. I'm sorry. This is all my fault.
I'll be there.
Huh?
I'm observing with everybody's reaction.
Corey's face is in her hands.
We we were always gonna meet. She said so.
I took whatever life you could have had in Marencia.
Yeah. But, and I point at John, and I think truly lock eyes with you, John, for one of the first times ever. And I just look at you and I say, she said she needed us to spread her light. So we were always gonna meet. Just doesn't matter anymore.
I find speculation on the past to be a waste of energy.
As John says that, he stands up and he places probably an uncharacteristically gentle hand on Corey's shoulder.
Thank you for breakfast.
And he's going to step outside because the air in here is heavy.
Absolutely. John walks to the door of the tower to step out.
Dandin's eyes flit over to Corey, and there's not really much emotion in Dandin's face right now. It's just eyes. But I give a nod as if I'm agreeing with what John said. And then I also run out the door.
As the two of you head outside, could both of you give me a religion check, please?
Yeah, +0 bros.
Let's fucking go.
Two most religiously influential people of the party, and just nothing in religion.
Go goose egg, gang. We'll get better eventually. I did roll a
I
natural 18, though.
I got a 19 total.
Oh, good, great rolls, folks.
Guidance.
Great rolls. John, as you stride out, last words being, it's no use thinking about the past. For a moment, perhaps, your mind does flit to the past, the immediate past of yesterday and what you'd seen. How does John feel about what you saw? About the end of the Lady of Mercy?
I suppose. I think John understand. I don't think John is dissuaded by, or like is disillusioned to any sense that the Redeemer did not die yesterday. That happened. But I also think that the nature of faith and the ephemeral relationship he already had with the Redeemer, it means something. It's heavy, and there's a large message to be pondered from what he saw. I just don't think he's sure what that is. And I think he's less concerned about the fact that an angel died and more concerned about everything she told them in those moments prior to it.
Mm-hmm.
That is what's, I think his thoughts are clamping towards.
You study yourself, you saw the death of an arch-seraph with your own eyes, but the message that she imparted, not just in her final moments, but in your existence of redemption, is something that can be attained, that lives with you still. You are proof that that can be true. And there are certainly going to be hurdles along the way, but redemption is always an option. Dandin, you got an 18? 19? Dandin,
Yeah, 19.
same question stands for you.
In a very practical way, Dandin will look at their hand, just kind of walking maybe 20, 30 feet behind John, just kind of meandering, but keeping him in sight. One of the things that Miklas gave Dandin was the ability to heal someone with a thought. A healing light that shows no obvious magic but allowed Dandin to help people without being noticed. If Dandin in this moment tries to access that magic, what happens?
Oh. Dandin, you think about that gift that you have called on to help your friends in moments of need. As you go to call on it, you first feel a hollowness, a lacking. It is out of reach. But then you feel the sacrifice that Miklas made. A gesture of absolving oneself of any thoughts for what will happen to me. I do this for others. And the depth of a choice like that, the profundity of it, resonates with you. And what good would a sacrifice be if you cannot do something with it because of it? And you feel something click into place as you realize that, and you think that you could still call on a healing light.
I think Dandin stops and looks around. Is it just Dandin and John that are walking about, or is like the other camp starting to wake up?
The camp is a few hundred yards away from the
Okay.
tower. You see there's a fire, and you hear the sounds of like
Okay.
pots, but you are alone for the moment, save for John.
Right. No, that's not what I was expecting. Dandin, what was the original question? How's Dandin feeling about the events of yesterday?
Yes, about
Uh,
seeing Nicholas's
yeah.
end.
I think Dandin was kind of like false hoping to make something happen there, because Dandin really believes and felt something be lost yesterday. It was
Yep.
an integral part of the last 4 years of his life. But when the whatever it is clicks into place and that magic remains, I look at John and I run up to him, and I just pull on your sleeve or the greave of your armor or whatever.
What is it?
I look, and just a little bit of faint golden light illuminates the hands. It's still there.
Good.
But it doesn't make any sense.
Dandon, do you believe in an afterlife?
I don't know.
Do you think death is the last step in the cycle of one's existence?
No.
And if that is the case for you and I, why would it be different for her? She is somewhere we may not be able to see her again, Dandon. Not until you and I ourselves perish. But I think if Coralia can rip herself back from whatever it was that entire situation was, I think you should maybe be able to hope a bit that an angel could do something similar after dying. I'm glad you have something to assuage your mind.
I
should
didn't
go let
expect to be so
Coralia know.
spicy.
I mean it. That's what she told me. She said that she wanted you and me to spread her light.
Well, I don't know if you know much of the Greater Bruin, but I think we might have our work cut out for us.
I've only been outside of Morencia for a few days and it sucks a lot.
There are nicer parts.
I know you guys didn't have a good time in Morencia, but I lived there for a while and it was pretty okay.
Well, before we can focus on a new place to live, we should focus on not being so close to that. As I get the feeling that's a pretty easy landmark to find.
I shoot a marble at it.
Does it spaghettificate?
The marble does not reach it,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
No way.
All right,
Oh,
that is
damn,
like a
fuck
mile
you.
offshore. That's right.
Yeah. Dandon,
Yeah.
as the healing light around your hand continues to faintly shine, on your religion check and on John's, both of you notice after a little while that the light continues to shine, certainly, but it is slowly changing. It is still largely golden, but silver light is slowly creeping into it. A cooler light.
What kind of beach is the beach here? Is it like a super sandy beach? Are there like at least a variable number of like medium-sized rocks present?
Certainly, medium-sized rocks. It is not much sand. It's more kind of like silt,
Okay.
dirt. Yeah. And in fact, as the two of you are walking towards it, you notice that a few crates have washed up on shore. Looks like some supplies from the Grifoni Grignande have washed ashore.
I think the sailors in Marencia, they had a saying for this. Dibs. Dibs.
That was in character. John laughs out loud at that comment. And it kind of trails for... Danton's a fairly insightful individual, right?
Oh yeah.
It trails maybe a little couple extra than it ought to.
Got it.
But those first few bursts are very genuine. That's all I got.
Well, by all means, crack it open.
As the two of you approach the crates, back in the tower, Corey, Elias, what are you
Yep.
guys up to?
Can you hear me? Better?
Yes.
I added voicemail.
You do sound cleaner.
Clean?
Yep.
Well, yeah. I saw what you did. No one could have predicted the outcome of this event. Good things happen to people. Bad things happen to good people. Things that the others don't blame you for what happened. Or neither do I. It just happened. So leave it in the past. What matters now is what we do. Bring me a pie when I do this. Figure out what's happening unless I find a place for a kid to be happy.
Corey is like standing in the doorway of the stairs up to the second level, and is listening to him as he speaks. The tower's magic is going to dissipate in about half an hour. And I will head upstairs.
Oof.
I love you, Gio. I'm so sorry.
Elias just walks in.
Elias walks out. You walk upstairs, Corrali. Where are you going and what are you doing?
I am going to my study, which is what is at the top of the stairs. And because no one else is here, I don't have to describe it for anyone. Haha. But I will. Corey did not sleep. Corey got another level of artificer, so Corey stole John's hammer in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I doubt John noticed.
Excellent.
And so Corey is going to go retrieve that and get ready to leave. So I'm going to, in the room, there is a large, like, table that has beakers and things on it. And in one of these large, almost Voss-like beakers is just the entire Warhammer. Submerged and bubbling.
Wow.
And Corey goes to her, like, area that is the closet, basically. And she's many different gowns of different designs. Grabs a new hat, grabs some new clothes. She doesn't know the next time she's going to be making this tower, so gotta change out the shit that's been ripped to shreds Blake. I mean, I designed her to basically be a character from hentai, so I understand. And she's going to extract the hammer, and as she is leaving, before she leaves the room, she's going to toss the hat up towards the top of the tower, and then leave the tower as the hat descends, collecting the tower underneath it.
Awesome. And we can also say that during your not sleeping, when you were working on the hammer, if you would also have liked to work on your chainmail, what did we decide we're turning it into?
So I have the ability to wear heavy or medium armor.
Yep.
So I think a chain shirt.
Chain shirt sounds good to me.
Because the idea was that it was like a cover for her robes.
Yeah. Yeah. Make a little vest.
It's like a slip.
Oh, good. Yeah, certainly.
Because it's Corey and it has to be hot.
You make a chain slip. You can go ahead and pop on a chain shirt in your D&D Beyond and say goodbye to a 10 armor class.
Yeah, let's go. Chain shirt makes it what? 13?
Something like that, right?
I think 13. 13, boys.
Hey, that's an 18 with shield.
That's an 18 with shield.
That's oh, and I believe artificers can also use shields, like actual physical shields.
Yeah.
Make Corey a
percent
buck there.
in armor.
I'm gonna make a repulsive shield. That when she crosses her arms, it lights up, and then it's like a plasma shield.
Amazing.
Hot.
It's one of the artificer infusions that I can make.
Hat goes up, hat comes down, tower comes down. Elias, you walk out. You see walking down towards the shore, Elias. Dandin and John starting to get into looks like some boxes or crates down there. What are you doing, Elias?
Here, no, what you do is you take it and you want to like jam it in there, and then you need the leverage. Don't just pull on it. Make the metal work for you, Dandin.
They look like they're having.
Dandin's certainly struggling. You see a certain a degree of amusement on John's face, certainly.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna leave them alone. I'm my own.
7 in strength.
I have a higher strength.
Here, you might. I don't want to discourage you, Dandin, but do you need a hand?
Yeah.
That's all right. Not everybody's strong.
And I just grab the like bar wedge and I just like lean down onto it and pop it off.
Awesome. This one, as you pop it off, looks like it just contains like rations, basically. Like dried meats, dried fruits, dried veg.
Well, that's not exciting, but incredibly important. Next one.
It's like Christmas.
In that crate, you find, let's go ahead and say 8 rations. 8 units.
Gotcha.
Feel free to distribute that as you see fit. As you're looking, you see a lot of the other crates that have washed ashore have been like smashed, or just kind of like in splinters, save for one other crate. And this crate is marked "Do Not Open."
Well, we know what happens when we find those boxes.
Hey, is that chest trapped?
Yeah. Is it a chest or is it a crate?
This is a crate.
Okay.
Still,
That
you see-
crate trapped.
Yeah, John like wiggles the dagger in and then stops and looks down.
both of you give me an investigation check.
Dandin can have it with advantage.
Hey, still a
Excellent.
Hey,
+0.
it's +0 for me too.
15.
15. As you're looking at it, you see, in fact, where the lid has been put on, you see signs that there is, like, you basically see, like, a trip wire
Hmm.
right underneath it. If you
Cool.
just crack the lid off, something's gonna happen.
Right. Wait a second. Can I disarm a trap?
Go ahead and give me a sleight of hand check.
Hey, what do you know? I'm pretty good at those. I'm a rogue. I'm going to give myself guidance on this roll.
Yep.
Oh, I'm gonna need it. 16?
A 16.
We'll at least survive the explosion on a 16.
Sure. Oh no, the music changed.
Just reflective of the new
Roll,
setting
dude.
down by the beach, by the shore.
Down by
On a
the
16,
bay.
you get. What are you using to attempt to disarm this?
I have my set of thieves tools, which is actually like 8 different sets of thieves tools that I've like pieced together
Yeah,
over a long time.
yeah. You've got like the
Uh,
best part of each
and,
kit, the
and
one
if
that's
it's
not broken.
and if it's a tripwire, then what I am doing is I grab the flattest stone I possibly can from the beach here, and I will set it in where the tripwire would make a pin go down, and I just take a little tiny set of scissors and I just cut the tripwire.
You cut the tripwire. Wait for that moment of truth to see if you've done it successfully. Second or two goes by. You're in the clear.
Okay, we're good.
All right. It's not that I don't trust your skills, but in case there's a secondary one we didn't notice and we both die in this, would you mind stepping 20 feet back so you maybe don't die in this? Thank you. And then I open it.
You crack the lid. No secondary tripwire or traps of any kind. You pop the lid off and you see a few items inside. This is the crate, one of the crates that Elias saw down in the cargo hold. This is Cipiano's cargo that they were transporting. We find some fascinating items within. Oh, first of all, too, for John, your juicy long sword.
Yeah.
Can you see that?
Yeah. What about it? Yeah, I've got it in the inventory.
Yeah, you've got
Oh,
that.
you mean the? Oh,
The
I
art.
wasn't open on Grimpunk. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Ooh,
Uh,
Thank you.
as you start to pull some items out, the first one that you find, the largest one in there, is a shield. And with each item, you see there's a small little like identifying, like an inventory tag on it.
That's amazing.
Well, that makes
Gives you a little bit of information on it.
Makes
This is
this
called a Protector's Ward. You see on the tag and kind of like bullet point, you see crafted for Luc Garnier, a Charnot Knight, stolen about a week and a half ago.
Oh, these are fenced goods.
Correct.
Oh, perfect.
You then
Perfect.
find a book labeled as a fulminating treatise,
Ooh.
a spell book stolen from an Inquisition storehouse, having been seized from the convicted sorcerer Kadras.
Search from the vibrator.
Come again?
What was that?
I think that's the point of the vibrator, Blake.
Come again?
What happened?
You find a stiletto labeled as a Seraphim's stiletto, an Imperium relic from the days of the Tetrarchy. And then finally, you find wrapped up in bubble foam.
Interesting.
You
Fun.
find a teapot of potential. And this, you see, it has not been stolen. This is personal cargo of Cipiano, wrapped up and stored in here.
Hey, he abandoned the ship, bro.
Yeah, he
Fuck
abandoned the
that guy.
ship.
What was it you said a little bit ago, Dandon?
And John pulls the shield out.
Dibs?
Dibs. I have the knife in my hand already.
Oh, that was impressive. I was gonna hand that to you. Well, let's go share our loot before they realize we're robbing their cargo.
I was kind of only half lucid last night. They didn't seem very pleased with Mr. Cipriano either.
To be fair, I was also about half lucid last night.
Okay.
I'll take your word for it. Would you give me a hand then, Dandon? I need some good rocks.
I can
I
do
need to
that.
build a cairn.
Yeah. I'll start gathering rocks.
And I'll
As you're
find a nice
gathering-
spot as like it kind of slopes up towards the hill and like start clearing it away. Getting it
John,
ready.
you head off and do that. And as you're gathering some stones, Dandin, you see a final item has drifted to shore. You see a rifle.
Ooh.
As you find it, you recognize it as Gristle's rifle.
The shiny one he got from the dwarf?
The fancy one that he stole from the dwarf,
Yeah.
yes.
Does anyone else see that rifle in the water?
No. It's like snagged on like a
Yeah.
stone.
I don't tell anybody it's there.
Corey, the tower has fallen into your hat. Hat's on the head. Walking down to the beach. You walk down to the beach. You see Dandin standing in the shallows looking at something. You see John is working on what looks like, yeah, like a site for burial. Remembrance.
As Corey is strutting down, the very long cavalry hammer is swinging around her in like a figure eight, and she is not holding it.
Gotcha.
And she is flitting through like a book or something. It looks like some type of map.
Mm-hmm. Corey arrives on the scene.
Well, I don't know how long it'll be for us to get up to the mountains, but
Well, you might know if you'd asked Elias. And not that it doesn't look fun, but mages put their hands on everything they see.
you're welcome. And the hammer will toss and land right next to him. And John can see arcane runes dotting up the side of it, slightly glowing.
What does it do?
Right,
So I don't get myself into any sticky situations.
right now, it just comes back.
Like a boomerang, or
Sometimes, usually just magically. It will return after hitting.
Huh.
That way you don't get covered in blood.
John picks up the hammer, gives it an experimental, like, half feels for it, and then wings it at a tree.
You chuck it, smashes into the tree, quivers for a moment, flies back.
I have another plan for it, but I will need to do some more studying before I can.
Breakfast and a present. Untouched.
I killed your god.
Woof.
And never take a compliment.
Uh,
Oh,
Not really sure what to say about that one. I'm going to hold a small ceremony for Gristle, if you would like to join us.
I don't. Okay.
Brief moment of levity is quickly squashed. um, Elias, what are you up to?
It's well, I mean, nothing really. It's just making tea and just reading his journals,
Mhm.
writing stuff on it, and just waiting to see where the group wants to go next.
Gotcha.
He doesn't really want to come to the core unless he wants it to, and people in their space.
Mhm.
But yeah, John will take those rocks, build a little cairn, and when it's ready, he'll bring everyone over. So he'll go find you, Elias, wherever you're journaling. And sorry to cut into your journaling. I've made a little site for Gristle. If you'd like to come.
No, it's no problem at all. I will be there momentarily.
Take your time. I understand ink needing to dry.
John kind of says over his shoulder as he walks off.
Elias, as you're finishing up your journaling, I think it would dawn on you that you're kind of like the most familiar with this area. You've traveled in the south of the Burok Empire, Rowland, through Charnot a little bit. Depending on, if you stick with the former crew of the Griffon Grande, you'll probably gonna have to do some navigating.
Mhm.
Not sure how much the rest of the party is familiar with this area. Um, Go ahead and give me a survival check.
Eh? Hmm, That's yeah, that's a 25.
God damn. You flip back in your journal to the last time you were in this area, you're able to kind of get a feel for your surroundings, for your location. Um, you are just south of the Rock Teeth Mountains. You are far from any road, certainly.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to, basically, goal potentially still being Care Boldor and the first lead. To get there is going to be difficult. You could loop around and head north towards a road. take you probably about a week. You could cut through the mountains for Stenwald. That's kind of the closest population center. Stenwald is like the major city, the capital of Rowland. You would certainly be able to find supplies and take shelter there. It would be quicker than going around. It would be a difficult trek, certainly. You think it would probably take about like 4 days of hiking through the mountains to get to Stenwald. Once you're in Stenwald, you can follow the road to Cair Boldor. Again, if you follow the road, it would be about another week. If you wanted to, from there, you could again cut through the mountains. It's more direct, certainly. Cut down on time a little bit, but it would also be a harder trek. It would be about like 5 days hiking through the mountains.
So one's faster but more dangerous.
Yeah, more dangerous, like harder hikes. Or you go slow, you find the roads, you get there, it's gonna take longer. If you stick to roads, it'll take about 2 weeks altogether to, a week to get to Stenwald and then a week to Cair Boldor.
Okay.
A little bit over a week if you are cutting through mountains.
Isn't that essentially what our trip time was if we'd gotten dropped off normally?
It's not far off, no. Yeah.
It's a little bit. It's probably a little bit longer because it's through wilderness purely.
Yeah.
But or not purely, but for any length.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like exactly. Like the place that the ship was abandoned was fairly close to where you were going to be hopping off anyways. So, all things considered, your trek is not overly impacted.
Yeah, I mean, I'll still present the two.
Yep.
The two options to them, but.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, a final kind of insight that Elias would certainly have as well of it's not just time, again, it's the difficulty, but then also this far south, Rowland, more generally speaking, again, is certainly where encounters with the beast and with the beast's like presence and corruption and influence is more likely to happen.
What have we heard about the beast recently? Active?
Oh, certainly. Certainly active. Every week or so, basically, a village is visited by the beast and is not heard from again.
Which one's the last? The last
It's
village.
the last village that you heard that was visited by the beast was in fact in Charnot, which means that the beast has spread more south than ever before. And you've been in Morencia for a little while, so your kind of last news is a little bit out of date. But I think you would know that once you start traveling in Rowland, you'll hear something very soon. It's not unlikely for you to encounter refugees or survivors or see it firsthand for yourself. And this is where if you take the road or if you hike through the mountains, both are equally likely to run into something. When it comes to like the beast influence, roads provide no safety, no security.
Elias, I'll recommend taking the road, but I will present. I will go along with it.
Cool.
Majorly decides.
Everybody else is gone.
Yeah. I was about to say everyone congregates around the cairn, but For the moment, John and Corelli are deep in conversation. Elias, you see Dandon standing there.
What do you think? Are you up for
What?
a trip in the wilderness?
What? What's the beast?
It is something that we hopefully won't face, but it's an abomination.
Cool. Um.
A large creature that stalks these lands.
Cool. I don't know. I'm really good at climbing, so I don't really care if we take the mountains, but uh whatever keeps us
I
safe.
I think I've marched through enough mountains before I retired. I don't see how an extra week is going to kill us as long as Choom doesn't try to you know, conduct any experiments in that time.
Listen, you do one experiment gone wrong, and suddenly you're being labeled the mad scientist.
It's less that it's one experiment gone wrong, Choom, and it's 100% of your experiments have gone wrong currently.
But with a sample size so small,
Yeah, that's
are you gonna back me up here? Or
all I'm saying is maybe dial it back
keep
on
me from the wolves?
cooking our brains if we're going to be taking a longer route.
I
don't-
cannot take credit for any cooking of brains, simply a byproduct of the shards.
I don't know what you expect me to do, Choom. I like it when he digs his teeth into things, so I just like to watch.
Oh dear.
That
Well, I
sounds
see you've
perfect.
constructed a lovely little cairn for Gristle. Did we want to say a few words?
You don't get to say any words about him.
Okay. I'll just be here.
I hate him so much. Also, like, is there not supposed to be any music right now?
Oh, so it was beach music. It's just very quiet. It's like ambient.
I do hear the ambient beach
Yeah.
water noises. You got to turn it up a little.
Gotta turn it, yeah.
I've
Maybe
got
that's
mine
why
at
you're
actually 100 for once.
I was gonna say maybe that's why you were at 200 before, Kyle.
Maybe.
Some of the ambient stuff is pretty quiet. I'll change it to
True.
something else. Give me 1 sec.
Oh, no worries.
Sounds like you'll want sad music.
Dandon just side commented, that sounds pervy. I love them so much.
As John slowly turns to just make very pointed eye contact before turning back away and like resuming the cairn.
Wow, the beginning of this day has gone much better than I expected it to. Knock on wood. That was Kyle, not Dandon, by the way.
It's true. It's hard to tell. Sometimes we're so in it, guys. It's tough to tell.
Corey is going to lean down to Dandon. Can I put some lotion on your burns?
Yeah, in a little bit.
Okay. Do you want to do it?
Yeah.
I can just give it to you.
You can stay. I might need help with some, but I want to do most of it.
I was worried about your hand, so.
I think it's okay.
It
It's a little tender.
might take some time for it to come back to full movability, so.
I tried to move a big ball of magic and it didn't go very well.
Yeah. What did you guys face?
All right, you were in it. That's probably a better question for somebody who knows more about magic.
That.
Oh yeah.
Oh! I'll just look at the ball of annihilation. The you know, when I was in Ravencourt, we called those the angry balls.
Corey, as you look out at it, give me a Arcana check.
Do I even have to anymore?
Yes.
Do you still have to?
25.
Damn.
Corey, you recognize this as an orb of annihilation, but it has been twisted. Wild magic is emanating, surging from it. But more than that, as you're looking at it, you see the telltale shimmer of abjurative magic surrounding it right now. That magic does not naturally occur. Someone has placed a barrier around it to prevent it from growing further.
Well,
Is that barrier new from last night? Or at least is there like, is it structurally different from last night, I guess? Because I don't know anything about magic.
Yeah, John, you didn't notice.
I was sweating, man.
Everyone give me an Arcana check as you see Corey starting to stare at it.
yeah,
to see
like
if we notice anything different.
Corey has paused and like started.
12.
Yeah. Yeah, Corey, you're seeing it for the first time here. Look at that roll, Gio. For the people who saw it last night, you don't notice a difference. The only difference is that it stopped growing. For Corey, as you're looking at it, something has been placed around it. Looking at it, you know, like an orb of annihilation is a devastating occurrence on its own. For one to be of this size and with that wild magic surging around it, this is like a cataclysmic object occurrence that you're seeing. For something to be placed around it that has indeed stopped it from wreaking havoc is a profound act of magic.
Well,
And it is, as you're looking at it, this is the work of like arcane magic. This is not divine.
yeah. Oh,
Give me a history check as well, Coralia.
because arcane casters have identifiable magic.
Their shorthand is usually pretty distinct.
A history?
Yep.
26.
You have never seen an act of magic like this before, but you have read about them. And more than reading about it, there have been, there's been gossip. This is the Theurge's work.
Ugh, we need to leave. We need to leave rapidly.
This is certainly the Theurge's handiwork. They have recognized and detected that this is a catastrophic magical anomaly and have, as they have always done, worked to ensure that it does not ruin Terra. Dandon?
I don't think Dandon probably doesn't recognize that there's like a barrier or anything around it. Is it still disturbing the water?
In that area, yes.
Okay.
He's the water about, it before it has been stopped, it looks like it's, 100 feet diameter.
Is
There
that
is,
is
and
that-
yeah.
is that part of the river essentially impassable by water at this moment?
There is like a whirlpool around it, yeah. Yeah, the water is disturbed outside of what Corey sees as that protective barrier.
Well, it's
But-
already hyped up on wild magic, but it also has a sphere of abjuration magic that looks like the Theurge's handiwork. Do we know if the Theurge are also hunting us? Can we make that assumption? Because
Uh,
I don't know, can you?
yeah, feel free to draw whatever conclusions you want. This is not the first time the Theurge has been brought up,
Yeah.
I will say.
right, but
Theurge was
this-
brought up in your conversation with Benedict.
Benedict,
Augustivius Pimbatus.
Augustivius Pimbatus,
Because
the
that's
third.
where the ball was going.
That's
Because
where
the
the
ball was
Ion
loaded.
Stone was bound.
So logic would state, Captain Capitalism probably told the Theurge that the stone was lost, or he's trying to cover his ass.
That one. But didn't Chum say that didn't Chum say that his friends that we're gonna go see are part of the Theurge?
He did. So do you think we would be able to find an ally with him?
I don't know. But
Potentially two, and the
If-
third probably isn't going to be an ally. We're going to have to go through some shit for this guy.
but if the ball was going to the Theurge in the first place, and Chum's friends are part of the Theurge, then we just talk to them and say, we'll give it to you, you just gotta help us get it out of our heads without killing us. And
Sure,
find the
they
one
can.
that's lost in the water.
Right. Chu, what is?
Oh, that's probably not in the water.
How is that going to affect this whole situation?
What?
How much stupider did you get?
Oh, I don't feel any stupider.
Can I kind of wiggle through him with that connection that we now have and see
Yeah.
how much magic he's capable of now?
Go ahead and give me a Arcana check.
Coralia, it's time for your 430 Arcana check.
Yes, honey.
S. Blake.
That's a 21.
You do not sense. You do not get the feeling that Shum is weakened. What did you get again? Sorry.
A
It
21.
was over 20, right? Okay. As you were exploring the tendrils, this connection with Chum's mind, and
You
you're
feel a
focused
connection.
on kind of, you're focused kind of on
Authority.
this like, yeah, word. You feel this. You're kind of searching specifically for like, is anything missing? You start to feel within Chum's consciousness, like anchors or points that if you focus on them for a moment, you feel, for example, Dandin's mind, or you feel John's. And as you are searching through those, you feel a connection to Gristle. Gristle is dead, but you feel the connection to Gristle. You do not get any of the sensory feelings that you do from the others. There's nothing going on. But you still, in your heart of hearts, in your soul, you recognize the telltale signature of Gristle. You have no idea where that is, but Gristle's connection remains. Inert, but connected still.
I will back out of Chum.
What the hell was that?
I
What are you
learned,
snooping around for?
I learned a skill or two while I was inside of the... And I will point at the orb. I can dig into Chum, because I'm smarter than him.
Now, I just like to
That sounds
speak here
accurate.
for a moment. Don't believe anything she says. If it weren't for me, she'd still be floundering in the astral sea, gasping for breath.
He has a point.
Well, you probably would have died by now.
Can I ask what you were searching for, Coralia?
I was
think I
seeing
did
to
notice
see
that.
if you were magically still intact.
Oh, well, I mean, I could have told you that. Yes, I feel
How are you-
as
How are you still bound to Gristle?
well. I mean, the shards. You did not think the shard would be so easily destroyed, now, did you?
Well, I mean, it's an orb of annihilation. I kind of assumed.
Uh, no, my old friends, their stone of choice is not going to be destroyed so easily.
What type of stone is it, Chu?
With that connection, you feel Choom's intent to tell you is present. Strange, I seem to have forgotten. Sorry, what were we talking about?
Spooky.
Choom,
Oh,
when's your
he's been-
birthday?
He's been messed with.
Yeah.
My birthday. Oh, I remember.
What date were you born? Month and day.
Date, month. September 6th seems familiar.
What the fuck is September?
What do you mean? What's September?
Out of character, are we using the Gregorian calendar? Okay. Oh,
I refuse to come up with
oh,
alternate
that's
months.
right. You used
Or
to come up with
days.
the fiction calendar. That's
Yeah.
valid. That's valid.
I'll never fucking remember that shit.
Oh.
The year is a little bit fuzzier.
What other details are fuzzy if you reach back, Choom?
Well, I
Choom.
remember. Oh,
You said you wanted us to call you the benefactor. Is that because you don't know your name?
don't know my name. Listen, names are overrated. Names are. Listen,
Names may merely be titles, Choom, but most folk remember theirs.
You know what? We've been through a lot.
If your name is disappointing, it's okay, Choom.
It's not that.
We'll
It's-
still keep calling you Choom, but
It's been taken from me. Okay.
ah,
Names have power. As I said, I have friends on Theurge, and well, I have people that are not my friends. And my prison was not merely a physical one, but a spiritual one.
From what we can gather, the magic that's been made, that's made your crystal is stronger than the sphere, and it's not only it's not only containing you, but siphoning off of you as well, slowly.
It keeps me inert. So long as the shards remain within all of you, I am not able to act as I wish I could.
You,
And remind us how you wish to act again, Choom?
Oh, John, the things I would do to this realm.
Yeah, it's those comments
that
No,
we
no.
keep talking to you about.
Right. Yes, I recall that.
You're
The
not
things
painting
I would
yourself in a
do
very good light.
the things I would do for this realm.
Right, 4 is subjective. I want you to tell me what you want to do.
A liberation, John. An awakening. An education.
You'd be surprised how little you just elaborated.
Karadia,
Can
I
I
feel your hand is up.
uh can I dig
Breaking the
into
fourth wall.
can I get into Choom again to try and figure out what he did or if it's blocked off?
Yeah, give me a... And this time just give me a raw intelligence check.
Error redacted.
Corey out here just fucking probing brains. Should be reading our minds in a week.
23.
23. On a 23, you start probing into the mind of Choom, specifically towards memories of Choom, specifically of what he did.
To get
you
sealed into an ion stone.
to be sealed in this ion stone. Immediately, the memories grow fuzzy. You see memories surrounding what you're looking for. You see memories of Choom. You see memories of Choom from a long time ago. Has a full body, like a skeletal body. It's like arms and legs and everything is like wrapped up in a cloak. Has like a pointy wizard's hat on his head, it's like a staff. You see he's got his like skeletal legs kicked up on his desk as he is having a chat with a Goliath. And with a dwarf in a tower. You see that they're chatting about magic. You see an even older memory of a very gaunt but fleshy man. He's poring over an open tome. You see in the depths of a dungeon somewhere. You see adventurers like fighting off like undead. You see a young man at this point enlisting at a magical academy and getting expelled. But as you search for what he did, it is fuzzed out. However, on a 23, and this is partially because it's a 23, but very specifically because it's you doing this.
Do I know of
You
a specific lich from
you get
somewhere?
You get a feeling of familiarity. And it is coming from what you think Choom was working on. And it is a familiarity because you too
Worked
had
on
that
this.
research interest. Souls.
Fuck.
Choom was interested in souls. You don't know in what capacity, whose souls, or what shape that took. But Choom was studying souls.
Cool. I will slither back out of there. Pull my worm back out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a feeling. As we were all standing around the cairn, quietly, giving
I thought you
respect.
said Karen for a second. I was like, what?
As we stand amidst this pile of carrion.
After a moment or two, Corey will look towards the others and we should head out. Was there anything else that you guys found in the wreckage?
Book. Teapot. I'd hand them to the people they're obviously for. The electric crackling book is going to the wizard, just so we're very explicit.
Yeah, so Corey, you can go ahead and add a fulminating treatise to your inventory.
3 feet.
Book
Yeah.
teapot.
It's a magic teapot, I think. It's got a special
Elias,
name and everything.
Go ahead and add a teapot of potential to your inventory.
Have I heard
Uh,
of this teapot before?
You have not, no.
Teapot.
John, you can go ahead and add a protector's ward to your inventory.
Pretty
And
neato.
Dandin, go ahead and add a seraphim's stiletto to your inventory.
What does this do?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Gives you a bunch of spells. Mainly. It's a wizard spell book.
Blake's like, alright. Corey needs an actual spell focus.
I like fulminating things.
The tension between everything Corey does in regards to casting spells and the rest of us is not healthy.
Awesome. Everyone's got those items. You see Choom speaks as you're all standing around the cairn. Listen, I understand that we've been through a lot. And I do mean this. I am sorry to see Gristle. It will not be joining us. He was a little rough around the edges, but I felt you could count on him when you needed to. Maybe we'll see him again one day.
Before we leave, I will hawk a fat loogie right on the top of that cairn. Maybe someday, buddy. Yeah. And I'll head out.
John steps away.
Elias, are we,
Jacob wasn't present here. Was the general consensus that we're going to be looping or we're going to be cutting?
Loop.
We're gonna be taking the
Okay.
Longer.
Yeah,
We do,
I'll spit on top of the cairn and I'll make room for other people to say their pieces.
Dandin will fiddle through their pockets and pull out a simple pendant necklace with a dog's tooth on it.
Aw.
And I'll actually just put that on. And then I rifle around and I pull out a very wet pack of cigarettes. And I will just throw it on top of the cairn. And I will leave.
John has stepped away. Dandin has stepped away. Corey, are you still there? You stepped away as well.
Corey is standing in front of it and has this just very long pipe with a very small bowl at the base, and is puffing it, looking down at the Karen. Karen? The rock pile. Karen.
Pile of rocks for the dead person.
I will lean down and pulling a shiny stone out, I will press it into the stone and just push it into the rock so that it's sealed in it. I owe you a round. And I will leave.
And you leave. Lies, have you stepped away with the others?
Elias takes out a tin box of some of his most precious tea leaves. The legendary jug. And he takes some of it and just throws it down on the can. Says a couple of words in Druidic, nods, and leaves.
Everyone leaves behind a little something for Gristle, whether it be thoughts, spit, or objects.
He wouldn't want it to be too clean.
Dandin, as you step away, it is so quiet as to almost be silent, but you hear it in your mind. Sacrifice.
What?
As you all step away, you see approaching. Is Figgis. Man, where do we go here? Is the bot gonna tell me YouTube videos are no longer supported when I was literally just playing a YouTube video? What's going on here?
Just that one. Just that one's not supported.
Yeah, I'll try this one, I guess. Oops. Apparently, that's funny. The beach ambience back on. Figgis approaches. Morning, folks.
Indeed.
Everyone's up. Crew just packing up camp. What are we thinking? What's the plan for y'all?
Head north till we hit a road.
Gotcha.
Head south till we hit civilization.
Yeah, I mean, there'll be a few villages, towns along the way, certainly, but yeah, Stenwald's your next biggest one. I reckon I speak for our crew, but safety numbers, I think we'll follow you until we get to the road, and then I think we're still gonna head to Kerogrund. We've got contacts to meet there, so.
We used to have to report the
And just vaguely gesture at the orb. Missing
Yeah.
shipments.
Reckon a few people are gonna want to know about that. So,
Yeah.
and you look and you see the rest of the crew is making their way over. Figgis turns to them. Yeah, I was just saying we're probably gonna want to travel with them. And you see Adea. Everyone kind of looks like pretty tired, pretty, somber. Adea does not appear to be overly emotive of anything. Appears as kind of tranquil as ever. Gliding over towards you all, though, she floats in front of Elias and then stops. You see Figgis kind of looking at her a little strange, and Adea begins to speak. I have seen his kind before. Monsters masquerading as mortals. You see she pointing at Elias, but turns to look at you three. You would do well to join us and leave this one to his fate. How
I
long
don't-
until his claws turn on you?
I don't think that's for you to decide. If you're not comfortable traveling with us because of him, that's your decision. You don't get to decide who's a monster here and who's not.
You see Adea looking at you. He did not tell you. He did not tell any of you, did he? You see Figgis clears his throat. What
Mate.
Adea is trying to say is that we want to stick together, yeah, but we don't want to have to be questioning each other. Feel me either.
I'm more than positive I've killed more men than most of the people standing here. So if you're more scared of what someone looks like than what the amount of blood is on someone's hands, you should probably leave.
Danica crosses her arms and is speaking towards Corey, but is glaring at you, Elias. Any kind of congeniality that once existed between you appears to have left. The beast is nothing to take lightly. I've seen the devastation, the corruption it brings firsthand. That one carries it. Sure as shit.
What
Oh,
suggested that? The scales or the obvious illusion magic?
I saw with my own eyes what you turned into.
I think
Oh,
it's
Are you
better
gonna-
for us to travel separately.
You gonna deny it, Elias?
no. What he said is close to the truth.
That's what I thought.
I hope you wouldn't have seen the spawn. David called me to borrow that. I will leave if I must. I'm just glad that you were all somewhat safe. I've enjoyed my brief time with the lot of you, but seems here is where we part our ways.
Elias, shut up.
And, start walking. I don't know where I'm going. If you want the safety of numbers, then you'll have to make a hard choice. But that's your choice to make.
You see Figgis glances over at Adea and Danica. Go ahead and give me insight checks, everyone.
$15.
Natural 20.
Oh. Gain inspiration.
12.
Does anyone not have inspiration? I've got one currently. Is everybody full?
No.
Are we a full inspiration squad right now?
I don't have
Oh,
an
Kyle doesn't
inspiration.
have.
Kyle, take it.
Nat 20. Figgis doesn't seem to really care if Elias has something going on. But you see Danica and Adea very much care. You see Skrink and Groknar towards the back don't really seem to care one way or another. John, you would know Danica's probably pulling rank here, as like, with Dubois dead, first mate's kind of stepping in here. Whatever Danica says is gonna go, and Adea is probably the strongest one here. With the two of them, the crew is absolutely not gonna go with you.
No skin off my nose.
Figgis looks at them and kind of recognizes the way that this is going, and then, well, I think this will be where we part ways then. Damn. Safe travels. Awesome.
Well, Elias, lead on.
You're the one who knows where we're going.
I thought
No, fuck you, Elias. Friendship. Bitch.
well, I guess we are stuck together.
No, Gio, actually, we want you to just reclass. You can play Adea.
Yeah.
Yeah, she sounds cool.
It's not even much of a reclass. Still a druid. Just a different druid.
Just a different.
Not a stinky druid.
Frankly, a less cool druid.
Ha.
Wait, I thought he was a stinky ranger.
Stinky ranger druid.
Yeah, both.
As
Stinky
we
is the.
as we all start walking away, Dandon will like keep standing there and like watch these three like walking away and like look back at the crew, and I will run over and I will hug Adea, and then I'll just say, "Stay safe." And I look over at Thomas, and this is like the first time the crew has ever seen Dandon like in the full get up. And I just look over towards Thomas and I just give a little wave, and then I scurry off after.
Yeah, you give the little wave to Thomas. Thomas has a very serious face expression on his face. Does not wave or nod to you. And as you gave Adea the hug, you feel, it's not like she gives you a hug back or anything, but
Yeah.
you feel an arm on your shoulder.
Yeah.
And then from the other arm, the hand, of course, was severed, or the arm was severed at the elbow.
Mm-hmm.
But you feel as it lifts a small, very small, what feels like a little branch
Oh.
sticking out of the elbow, touches you.
Yeah.
And then you scurry away. As you scurry away, you you hear for potentially the last time, Groknar!
Grocknar!
And you catch up with the party as you begin the trek to the north and to your destination. As you begin what is going to be about a week of travel, Elias, go ahead and give me the first survival check. And if anyone would like to provide the help action, feel free to do so. Just narrate how you will be doing that.
Hold on. I think I know how I'm gonna do this. I will provide the help action with the compass that I purchased. Just generally, like if he starts taking us a weird direction, that kind of thing. Just like, no, hold on.
Gotcha.
That's 13. That's a
13.
little.
With advantage?
Yeah. Only
Yeah.
rolled an 11 and a 13.
I'm a scout. Can I add my guidance to that?
Yeah, I'll allow that.
Extra D4, Geo.
That's a 16.
On a 16, you begin the trek. Very quickly you realize that, like, the position you guys are in where you came on shore, if you're looping around and you want to get back to the road like you are planning on, you're going to have to cross the river at some point. It's in the way still. On a 16, you're able to follow it to a point where it narrows. You've been hiking for a few hours at this point. The river has narrowed, and it looks like it's grown more shallow. But you're still going to have to cross it.
Yeah.
There's no bridge or anything. It's just the river.
How narrow does it get at this point?
Unlike before where, it was like a kilometer to either shore, it looks like it's about, to cross it entirely, like a quarter of a kilometer.
Fuck.
That's
Still a fairly large river.
It's pretty.
But how
Yeah.
much does it shallow out?
Oh, deep.
You're able to, looking at it, you see it's fairly shallow for the first about like 100 meters or so. And then you see it gets a little bit deeper toward as you keep going. On that survival check, it looks like it runs to about like 6 feet deep.
Does the does the river, like, is it carrying the same current, or is it like
It is weakened here.
It is weakened here.
Yeah. It's grown more shallow, slower.
I mean, I can
You said
swim.
it's 6 feet deep.
Towards the deeper parts.
I mean,
Can I?
I can keep my nose above water. I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, Elias and John, you would be able to walk across. Again, the current has slowed. Unless something really goes wrong, you're not in any danger of being washed away or anything like that.
Okay.
Dandin and Corey, you are not 6 feet tall.
I just
Well,
hold
I
on
have
to John's,
shoulders.
like, yeah.
Gotcha. You
But
crawl.
My
Yeah,
gloves are webbed.
gotcha. Uh, Dan, and you want to swim across then,
Uh,
or are you hopping on Elias's shoulders?
I will hop onto Elias's shoulders, but if I need to, I will swim.
Cool. Elias, what's your strength?
A 9.
Dan, and how much do you weigh?
Not very much.
Like 65 pounds soaking wet.
That's TikTok.
All right, that is
Uh,
TikTok, you're right.
Dandon is 5'4" and weighs a cool 115 pounds. That's gone up.
Elias? Oof. You got Dandon on your shoulders. Oof.
Yeah. Alright, come on.
While we're going over the water, I'll just be like, Dandon, you're gonna drown him.
Here, Dandon, hold on to this, and I'm gonna pull out that pocket watch, and I'll click it to the side so it just starts unspooling. And I'll just, like, yank out, like, I'll just give it a nice yank for just a shit ton of slack and click it shut again, and I'll toss my pocket watch back to Dandon.
Just tread after us.
Okay.
He's gonna break if you keep doing that.
Truly a weight off the shoulders, Elias.
Alright, it's difficult for me to move.
Yeah, might have had to do some kind of wild shape in the very near future, but with that weight gone, you're good. John, go ahead and give me an athletics check now.
It's a low roll, so I'm gonna use that inspiration point I have. God damn it, it's better. 14?
14. Now it's a bit of a workout.
That's all right.
Walking through deep water is one thing. Walking through deep water with Corey's two things. Now you're also hauling Dandon somewhat.
Yeah, this is just mainly so Dandon doesn't get caught. I think Dandon's
Yeah.
swimming essentially at this point. But yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
thing my armor's mithril now, because that
So-
would have sucked.
It's, quite the workout now. Elias catches up to you. Elias, you see John struggling a little bit beside you.
Do you want me to make you go faster?
I think we'll be fine. Yeah. I might just need a little.
It took a few hours to get to this point. You're about 20 minutes into crossing the river now.
How many are we? How far are we? Halfway.
You just
little
passed the
less than
halfway point. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
it's gonna get easier from here on out.
Easier from here.
Are we reaching plains at this point in this kind of area?
It's still hills. in
Still
this area.
hills.
Yeah.
Are they like lowland hills or are they more highland hills?
Lowland.
Lowland? Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know. I'll ask that next question once we get to shore.
Cool. After about another 20 minutes, you manage to find your way to the shore. John, you're feeling the burn in the legs, in the back, but you've made it to the shore. And Elias, you know now, you're not going to need to cross any more rivers. You can follow the river for the next day or so north towards the road, before it curves off to the east. But yeah, the wet part of this journey is over, unless it continues to rain, which it certainly is.
For the better part, if I think it's gonna be more difficult, I'm gonna be using speak with animals and ask the beasts around this area
Hmm.
for guidance.
Gotcha. Yeah, as you get to the shore, everyone takes a little bit of a break. You see a crow lands beside you. As you cast Speak with Animals, hops around a little bit, looks at you. What's up?
Any board us the way that around this place.
Looks up. Rain!
Rain.
Rain!
It's going to rain. It's raining.
Rain! Rain!
I know that. Do you want food? I feed him a little bit.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you feed him.
Alright. And you lead us to where there is no dangerous creatures. Yes.
Ow! Flies into the air and circles over you a few times. Circling expectantly.
Guess he's ready, boss.
Yeah.
Elias lets the crew know that you gotta keep going now, and you begin to follow the crow. John, what's up?
I think I might be able to
Pull off this trick again. John's gonna pull off his gloves, and he's just gonna, for the next 10 minutes or so, he's gonna keep his eye out for local fauna. And you know, as he goes, every once in a while, he gives out like some like hand whistles, that sound really uncannily, almost perhaps magically aided, like horse calls, essentially. And after 10 minutes, a warhorse trots up to John.
What, were you a Boy Scout?
No,
And I reach forward and I place a hand, like very purposefully, upon this creature's head as it approaches.
hello, girl. What's your name?
As the horse neighs and whinnies, you hear in your head, Bethany.
Amazing. You seem like a Bethany.
And I'm just gonna like stroke the mane a little bit.
You are the one they call John.
Yes.
Aeon?
No, it's Bethany.
Oh my god.
Sorry, just writing a note, Bethany.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put Bethany the Warhorse into my extras real quick.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, and John mounts up.
Carrying you all across the river was hard. In hindsight, I maybe should have done this prior. Come on, Bethany.
What? Did he? What?
Just cast Find Steed.
Did John just call a horse Bethany?
That's her name.
Did he just manifest a horse?
It's
Okay.
Can you do that with multiple horses or just the one?
Just the one, but there's room if you'd like to join me.
Dandon should ride side saddle with you.
I'm good.
Dandon, get on the horse.
I can turn into a horse. Then you can go with me.
I can turn into a horse. This is gonna be the most terrifying looking horse. This is the most horrifying creature.
Speaking of which, this warhorse is technically a Fey, Fiend, or Celestial, my choice.
Mhm.
I do technically have the spell from my Paladin levels, so I wanted to maybe ask you a little bit about Bethany's outwardly appearance.
Is it a nightmare from Skyrim?
Am I writing a nightmare?
Oath of Conquest, eh?
I think it could still be Celestial.
Bethany is a celestial. Bethany is a not messing around celestial.
She's
Yeah, she looks
Angel.
largely normal for a war horse. It's the eyes. Bethany has seen, and more than just seen, but done some things. You think Bethany has probably killed men, women,
Come on.
and children.
War never changes.
Bethany, yeah, if Bethany occasionally, if you guys stop, we'll have 1,000-yard stare going on.
She's just as traumatized
Yeah.
as John is.
Yeah, it's a reflection of that, certainly.
1,000-yard stare, cigar pops up in her.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes you think perhaps there's an eye patch over one eye. Yeah, Bethany has seen some shit.
Amazing.
As the day continues to progress, what is everyone getting up to? At this point, again, you've crossed the river. Certainly for today, the largest obstacle has been tackled.
How much more hours of daylight do we have?
You've got about.
Actually,
It's-
Corey is gonna punch. No power to it. Absolutely weak-wristed. Punch. Elias in the shoulder. How many more hours of daylight do we have?
It is 4 p.m. Sun will go down around 8.
Do we want to leave the side of the river and get up into the mountains? Or do we want to make camp at the river?
Elias, if you are by the river, there is a chance, a ship might go by.
Yeah.
Although,
The river is generally
perhaps-
the safest, but if we're trying to hide,
yeah.
keep.
Although, you don't think there
locations.
might not be traffic from the south
Yeah.
because there might be an obstacle. But maybe coming down from the north, there might be some ships.
Can
Yeah.
I animal messenger to see if they can go up the river and as far as they can and see if they can report back any signs of a vehicle going down this way.
Sure. Yeah, you send your crow, and the crow returns and lets you know that there appears to be a ship coming down, or like a raft. Looks like someone is like, poling it basically. There doesn't appear to be like anyone on it. You see like signs. The crow sees signs of like just like their catch, and the crow had passed by a village alongside the river, a few kilometers away basically from you all. Surmises that's probably where they're headed. Does not report anything other than that though.
If it can just after
That still doesn't answer my question of whether we want to be off the river or higher into the mountains.
Where does...
I mean, at this point, we could start veering a little northwest. Sort of cut through the hills a bit more.
That tower was hidden pretty good in the trees, right? We just gotta get into the trees more.
as long as we're not directly too far or too close to the river, we should be okay. Oh. Doesn't seem to be too many dangerous creatures in this area at this moment. We should be safe at the time. Okay.
Gotcha.
This is very intense music for a very
Yeah,
calm
Jesus,
conversation.
Swelling. It's just absolutely swelling. Awesome. So again, 4 p.m. Are you guys gonna push ahead for those 4 final hours and then set up
Yeah.
camp in the hills between the river and the mountains? Out of sight. Gotcha.
As we are walking, I will just look at the two men and just, do one of you know how to hunt, or do I have to do it?
Oh, we found. Oh, did we give all the rations to the crew?
No, I didn't give any of those to the crew.
We don't
Yeah,
have to hunt all the
Got
time.
8 sets of rations.
So we have 2 days of rations.
2 days worth of rations. Yes.
For everybody.
I know how to cook.
I can do something.
Unfortunately, Bethany's not made of real meat, I don't think.
That's
1,000-yard stare across the river right now.
I'm not comfortable eating your horse.
I don't know if she'd let you. You'd have to earn it.
I don't
You just
think I'd
see,
win.
What's that, Elias?
What'd you say, Elias?
1,000-yard stare. You can try, motherfucker. You, after maybe like an hour, my Coke bears just come back with some dead carcasses of animals.
Yeah, they're dragging like a deer between them.
Muscle.
Elias, have I ever mentioned that your tiny bears are horrifying?
As you say that, they've finished dragging it here, and they're all like tugging on it. They rip it in half.
I have watched them eat 2 different people now. They crawled into that paladin's mouth and out of its eyeball.
They are misunderstood.
They're just hungry little guys, Coralia.
And it's their first day, John.
No, not at all. They're very good at what they do.
Dandon throws up into a bush.
It seems we have.
One of the
No.
cold bears starts eating that. Throw up.
They're like the dumbest dogs.
Yeah. You see,
Recycling.
looks up
They're
expectantly
recycling.
at you, Dandon.
Oh God.
I
No.
shoo it away from them.
They disappear.
I will.
Scared.
I will collect some of the non-destroyed meat from these tiny bears. Well, I can do something with this. Should I build the tower?
Yes. And while you're doing that, I'll make sure they didn't do anything. And I'll cast, because the funny thing about being a cleric who's mostly regaled to smite slotting your spell slots, all of your prepared spells actually do really useful things. So I'm gonna ritual cast Purify Food and Drink.
Gotcha.
I'm going to find a level area to put the tower that is well concealed.
Yep. This might be. Yeah, after a few minutes of searching, you're able to find a spot. You see that there are, find a spot where the hill dips down. You'll be partially sheltered by the hill, and then depending on like the angle that someone were to go by in the river, the trees will be obscuring it for a little while. There's a chance someone might spot it, but they'd have to like roll for it, basically.
Yeah. I will shimmy the hat off of my horns and shove my hand into it a little bit, straighten out the point of it, and I will toss it into the air, and from it will land and then grow the tower.
The tower is summoned.
I gotta say, it's pretty cool to have a house in your pocket.
How do you think I traveled across the continent?
Cool.
I mean, I also stole people's money, but that's beside the point.
Sometimes you gotta steal.
Sometimes you have to steal.
I get the feeling you did it for fun.
I get the feeling you should mind your business.
John, you finish purifying the meat,
Yeah, just in case,
ready for cooking.
I will get it cleaned up, and I will I believe that there's like non-perishables in the cabinets that like come back when the towers respawn from wherever it goes. And she'll like take noodles and stuff out. We'll make a nice pasta.
Instant noodle.
Gotcha.
Some venison pasta.
Some wizard noodles.
Some wizard noodles.
Careful, they
Yeah.
might turn you into a frog.
It tastes like magic.
As the sun goes down, the meal is finished and handed out by Corey to everyone.
I will warn you.
Venison pasta.
The last time I made food for people, they tried to marry me, so fair warning.
I don't think I'm interested in going through that again.
I'm hurt.
I meant getting married.
Statement stands.
So how long were you married for, John?
Little over a decade, Choom.
Ah. Cool.
Did you ever find the warmth of another's touch aside from your own bony hand, Jim?
Oh, plenty of times, yes. I've been married how many times now? But,
You seem like the kind of guy to have a lot of ex-wives.
ex-wives, ex-husbands, you don't know the half of it. Everyone wants to get their hands on old Choom butter.
We're eating.
It's something you'll come to understand soon enough, sweet Dandan. What about you, Elias and Corey? Have you guys ever gotten hitched?
Ow.
Nose goes.
I think that means you, Elias. You ever found that special someone?
Anyone there to rub lotion on your scales? To spray you gently with mist as you
Ah.
bask under the sun.
You guys are weird.
We don't do that. Looks
We
like you
don't do
questioning me.
I'm making jokes about the fact that he's a lizard, Danton.
Listen, Dandon, this is how,
Um,
I feel like we're past due time for some team bonding, This is how we get to know each other. We're gonna be together for a little while. I figured let's all come together and get to know each other.
I think you're mistaken. I am not a lizard.
What?
Oh,
You're
I know
not a
you're.
lizard?
I know you're not a lizard. I was
fuck,
making
that
a
was like-
joke.
The only thing I thought I knew. God damn it. Well,
John,
you're still a surgeon, right,
Yeah,
Elias?
so what are you then? If you don't mind me asking.
A surgeon.
I'll just stick to calling you a surgeon.
were you a man before you got infected with the beast?
Infected by the beasts.
Became
Should
one.
they say that? No, quiet. Uh, and kind of Elias just hesitates. Fidgets. I have been the same as what you know, my John. When we parted, babe. Several years. The great beast. I encountered it in one of the villages. That hunted me. I got away, and I don't know how. I was changed. It's then it kind of drops some of the illusion on like his arms, and you see like grotesque like protrusions and it almost look like scars, but it's like peeling off and like almost like ash. It's it's done this to me, and that's why I'm looking for it. I've heard of cases and stories of people, other people like me, who survived the beast. And it's changed them. Some of them have lost their minds. But I'm trying to hold on to mine. And I cannot promise I will harm you.
I figured that if you were harmed any of us, you would have done it by now.
Yeah.
Listen, Elias, sounds like you've been through a lot. I know we all want to find Hoffrey and Care Boldor as much as I do, but Hoffrey knows a lot about the beast. Been his particular area of research for some years now. If anyone could give you information about encounters or survivors or I don't know, a treatment, I say Hoffrey is a good bet. I'll put in a good word for you.
I thought he didn't like you very much, Chum.
He doesn't.
Maybe hold off on putting any words in for at least a little while.
I mean, I guess now is as good a time as any to discuss that meeting then. I know we had floated the idea of a conversation using Gristle, but I don't think that's an option anymore, so how did we want to approach this?
Why don't you just
I
tell us something that you know about him that only you know? And that he knows that you know.
That could work.
I can be very persuasive, so I'm sure we'll figure something out.
And I can be persuasive in the other ways, so.
We could just talk to somebody for once.
That's literally what I actually meant.
We have tried.
I was talking about talking. I wasn't being facetious or you using a euphemism.
I believe you.
Very well, let us try diplomacy.
And if it doesn't work, we're good at improvising.
Oh, yeah, you might need to be, if Hoffrey gets upset. I'm sure it will all work out. I'll think about what to tell one of you to tell him then.
I think now may be a good time since Elias has been so kind to share. I believe I promised you all something before that ship ride.
Oh, right.
Lots of answers involving pertinent matters. So, ask away, I suppose. I will answer as honestly as I am able.
They're gonna come looking for the sword, right?
I don't think the sword is as much a concern as I am. Many years ago, fucking shit. Many years ago, I was drafted, shall we say, into the cult. And they took a shining to me. They put me on a pedestal, and they glorified the, talent I had for violence. I think they're more interested in getting their Messiah back than they are in getting this blade. And I'm worried Gorza told more than just her lord, because I'm sure he knew.
They don't have any type of mind control or anything that we should be worried of.
The blood fury they go into. It is not the most difficult thing to shake, but old habits do sometimes die hard. So I appreciate the work you've done on the hammer. That will help. But no, not like hold an amulet and snap their fingers and I turn around and cut you all in half. Not to my knowledge.
Well, this far, you haven't turned your attention towards us. Do you have ways of getting out of that?
Don't get covered in blood is usually a good first step.
Or
Generally, what the and he like reaches behind him and flicks the helmet.
And, the beard or for.
and both
And they help
A little. But it's, War makes you do many things.
Vermin are
Elias?
here. My vermin are here. In case something happens, they're instructed to stop me. But is there anything that we can do for you?
I'm so sorry, Gio. I didn't catch the full sentence.
My vermin are here.
Yeah.
In case there's anything happens to me, because they're instructed to stop me. Is there anything you need us to do for you?
John pulls the wrapped and sealed blade. Not like from its sheath or anything, but just pulls the whole apparatus off of his back and just sort of lays it out in front of everyone.
Almost had you.
This is a blade forged in the fires of a dying dragon, made of its very bone. Its soul rent from that dying body and stuffed into it. The cult can never get this. They might be able to remake a Messiah much more easily if they do. So if anything happens to me, I don't know. Throw it in the ocean, bury it somewhere, lock it under the undercrofts of Astoria for all I care. But the longer it remains sealed and starving, the better. And preferably, it's my own business if I fail to see it through.
Very well.
Just make sure they never get it.
And he takes it again and he puts it back upon his back.
well, now you have no reason to wield it again. You have that other very fancy blade that you somehow stole from that paladin.
I broke his arm. Did you know it only requires 15 pounds of force to break the human elbow? Or the Noid elbow, I should state. It varies a little. So I broke his arm like a stick. And I caught it before it tumbled into the river.
And you say I say troubling things, holy.
Oh, I have more, but I save those for the people I'm trying to scare.
Well, I think I maybe speak for the group here, John. Happy you're on our side. Well, let's all make sure we keep that, let's keep that blade under wraps.
Well, as long as I don't need to use it, things should be fine.
And if you do, is there maybe like a safe word or something we should use to, let everyone know that,
I mean, it doesn't take over
reposition?
my mind.
You say that, John, but as a denizen of your mind as well, I'll say back in Morencia there, I don't know if you were all there.
Those are not mutually exclusive truths.
Hmm.
I
Okay.
mean, you can understand why we have that assumption.
I do understand. It is more a symptom of the context otherwise present. As I said, war forces want to do many different things. And, there are times where your body takes over when your mind cannot. Muscle memory, if you will.
Yeah, go ahead.
Listening to all of this, Dandon never got affected by it, but the blood fury of Tormak, that kind of pulsed outward to everyone when Gorza transformed, right?
Yeah.
Did that... I know that she turned into a fiend. Was the bloodlust or the blood fury, was that fiendish magic being worked?
Go ahead and give me a history check as you think back to this moment.
Oof. 11.
You were not afflicted by it. That is correct. You saw others were. Figus, for example. You did indeed feel magic in that moment that you would be able to correctly assume that was fiendish in origin. Yeah,
Interesting.
very much the kind of opposite of the magic that you wield.
Would
And I think I'll say too as well.
do
It
I
was
do
the magic. It was so closely linked to. There was this wave of magic, but it was like the wave also of just like the blood.
yeah.
Like Gorza erupted and became this thing, and blood was splattering everywhere. And the
Mhm.
people who got coated in it became fury.
Right. I guess then could is it something that Dandon thinks that their protection from evil and good might be able to assist with?
I think you would be able to. Yeah, you would think so. It just depends. If it's just like the magic side of it, certainly it would help against that. But like John said, like there's the physicality of it as well. Like the splatter of blood does something,
Right.
and that would probably fuck with it.
Right.
It would make it more difficult to stay in control.
Right. But so the blood could add a whole other element to it.
Yeah. But if it if John manages to avoid that and is just dealing with the magic of it,
Mhm.
you think it would help, yeah. Your magic.
That's all.
Mhm.
Well, I have no sad stories, so I have nothing to give you all.
You just feel Chum's presence in your mind, Coralia.
I
It's
don't
not gonna
believe
say
you.
anything.
But if you're not in the mood to share, you've been kind enough to make us food 2 nights in a row and a place to sleep. So I think you're entitled to your privacy. At least a while longer. Well, thank you all for listening and not trying to kill me. I'm gonna go look at the stars and smoke for a little while.
I think I will do the same, and I will head upstairs. Dandon, if you want to work on your wrist rocket sometime, just let me know. I have a couple of upgrade ideas for you.
How long do you think it would take to transfer an enchantment?
Onto it?
No, I hold up the eye patch and the goggles.
Oh, 12 hours, maybe?
I don't know.
I feel like she's been doing magic long enough.
Give me an Arcana check.
I
17.
I do admire the balls though, Val. Just declare it. Just say it. Just make it canon.
17.
So you're trying to transfer what, sorry?
I'm trying to move an enchantment from one item to another.
From the eye patch to my goggles.
Gotcha. So there's the two sides to it. There's the enchantment that you would be moving, and then you would have to physically prepare that item to receive it.
Mm-hmm.
Make alterations and such. That is going to take the majority of the time, just like prepping it. The actual transference of the magic would not take that long at all.
She was just thinking of the actual transferring thing.
Transferring
Not
is
the
gonna be
whole
quick.
process, because she enjoys the tinkering part.
Yeah, the tinkering is going to be the majority of the time, right? And as always, there are materials and tools required. Your tower was equipped with the tools to make your like chain shirt, your slip. I'm gonna say that to transfer an enchantment, you're gonna need to buy supplies for that.
Okay, that's fine.
You're not equipped with that.
Well, now that I'm thinking about it,
You might have had, but you've
I don't
burned
have
through
the
it.
right tools to be able to put the new enchantment on it. So, we'll need to get to a city so that I can get the right materials. I'm sorry to disappoint you.
A tiny bit of metagaming from Kyle's perspective, just to because I don't remember things. Does the multi-purpose tool that she bought, can it be turned into a set of tools that she needs, or is this more like
Transform
not-
into any type of artisan's tool of your choice.
Yeah.
So it's not just we're using tools here. It's also just like the materials that
Got
you'll
it.
need. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
Expensive magic powder.jpg, you know.
Components. Yeah. Exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
we
You
have
gotta-
we have a head start on the materials, and I hold up the disassembled spyglass parts.
That will be useful.
That
Certainly.
will be a good start.
Whatever materials you thought you would need to buy is now cut in half.
I do also have this, and this is just all a bunch of upgrade tools, but it was just very specifically for my slingshot. I was like, but this is more like this is like a spring trap action, and it doesn't really go on goggles.
I was thinking of developing almost a grappling hook for it. Do you think that would be fun?
I can already climb real good. I could go really fast if I also had a rope.
So, I just was tossing it your direction, seeing how you would feel.
Yeah.
And a spring lock.
If it's gonna take some time and all that, can you just teach me how to use my tools better?
Sure. I'm happy to do that.
For the foreseeable future, I would like Coralia to be teaching me how to use Tinkerer's tools.
Uh-huh.
I would like to train a proficiency with Coralia.
Incredibly
Absolutely.
based.
I bet you could convince John to give you some fighting lessons. You might need them.
He's really good at fighting in his way, and I'm really good at fighting in my way.
True.
And look, I got a knife.
What's
No!
Child with a
Where
knife.
did you find a knife?
It was in the water. You got a book,
You're right.
and look, it's shiny.
Can I identify the dagger? Dagger.
Go ahead and give me a intelligence check.
I also have the identify spell.
You can use that spell then instead. You identify it as a very, a very divinely loaded magic item. You are detecting celestial magic has been inlaid into this, not just inlaid and used in the crafting of it, but you detect like unicorn horn.
What?
Unicorn horn is often used as like an alchemical item, has like intense healing properties. It has been carefully integrated into this stiletto. You think that this stiletto would not only fuck someone up, especially if they were like undead or fiend, but it could be used to enhance healing magic.
Hold on to that. It can make your healing better. And it'll hurt really good the next time we have a Gorza situation.
I don't really like being up close to people,
I
but
know.
sometimes I might have to. So
That's why I suggested maybe John can teach you a thing or two. For those moments when you have to be close.
Can you... I appreciate all you guys, and I'm really trying to like wrap my head around everything that's happened in the last 5 days. Can you do something for me? Can you just try to catch me? I hold out my arm and I'm like, no, like really, like try to grab my arm.
Oh, I'll grab the child?
My arm, you grab my arm and my arm literally slips right out from your hardest vice grip. And I hold up my hand and I wave it over, and that ring just glints there. And back under the glove. And it's like, I'm really hard to catch.
I'm sorry for doubting you. I'm not. I'm pretty easy to catch, so.
They got cool new armor.
Yeah, do you like it? I worked really hard on it. And this slip is like elven, like mail, what it would look like from like Lord of the Rings, and it is slid right over her robes, long, like flowy drapery, very,
You know,
very extra.
I mean, it makes sense. You got shot 20 seconds after I saw you the first time, so
Yeah, I died.
yeah. Let's not do that anymore.
This way, I'll be a little more protected. Alright, I am exhausted. And I'm ready to no longer speak to anybody. So, you, gentle people, have a delightful rest of your night. If you need me, I will be upstairs. There is a snare spell around the perimeter of the tower.
Noted.
Oh, so I guess I'll make my deck save now because you didn't tell me that before I left.
You left?
Yeah, I went out. I went like right outside. I went outside to smoke.
Immediately.
Oh.
Yeah.
I said I was gonna go look at the stars and smoke.
Oh,
Yeah, with,
I apologize. I would have told him.
Yeah. I have no troubles. You were alerted to the snare spell. I think. Are you able to tell people or designate people as not triggering it?
I
I
think
think that's
so.
with alarm.
Oh, I am thinking of alarm. Yeah. Okay. John, you are aware of the snare. Are you still going out?
John, maybe
The tower has
you.
like windows, right?
I have a very large observatory window upstairs.
Oh, I wouldn't want to intrude. I might just be able to.
No, I have already put a spell on the outside of the tower. It will trip if you go outside.
Oh. I suppose.
I don't
Either way.
bite.
It's your space. I'm trying to be polite.
Well, if you need either of us, or if someone is outside of the tower, let me know. If you need any assistance quickly, just call for Monica. She's my servant.
Oh,
You hear Choom sigh. You never tell them what it refers to. Just let them wonder.
oh no.
Does that echo into all of our minds?
Yes.
Damn it! I thought he figured out the channel.
Yeah. As he feels some people like, shit, sorry,
Don't be afraid when she shows up if you ask
wrong
for
channel.
her. But if you need anything, just holler for her.
I led.
Just the two old people are gonna go smoke upstairs.
They leave. I look at Elias and I just say,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna call for Monica.
Probably is that too.
Okay. It's probably like a big spider.
Yeah. I wouldn't come on.
Yeah.
Corey, as you show John to the upstairs, take us away.
So,
Now describe what it looks like.
as they walk into the room, along the northern side of the tower, there is a large workbench with lots of tools all on the wall, and a where the stove is downstairs, the chimney is connected up here, and it is a huge furnace. Right beside this little area, there is a outshoot that is a reading nook that has a bay window that must be the window that she was referring to. There's a very ostentatious painting of a very well manicured cat on one wall. The cat kinda, sort of, in a weird way, looks like Dandon.
Well,
What the
But
fuck?
not like in a strange way.
Again, you feel like affirmations coming from Choom as he sees this for the first time too. Yes, excellent.
The floor is like black and white checkers. The ceiling is a moving a star map that adjusts as the night continues. There is a large golden tub off to the side of the room with a curtain that's drawn semi over it. A very, very loud bed. Four posts, curtain canopies, towers of pillows, velvet sheets, and like there's draperies all around that hang from the ceiling. It's all very reminiscent of a wizard's space. You see a door that has a restroom in it, off to the side. Oh, the painting. It was Monica's idea. There is a slide on the other side of it for Dandon.
Oh, that's why it looks weirdly like. Okay.
Yes. I
Alright.
would like to replace it, but she keeps the whole place running, and if I try to replace it, she'll just replace it again.
And Monica's who exactly? You said your servant?
Yes. You've actually already met her. Once. She was the light that I casted into the barrel while you were soaking.
Alright.
She's a spider. A very large wolf spider. She's white.
I see. Good to know. I understand why that might be startling.
That's why I warned them. Anyway, and she will go towards the window, and she will push open the window, and the window like clicks into place and opens like closes like a butterfly's wing closing. So the whole like portion of this like nook opens. There you go. Now you can smoke. Leave me alone. And she walks over to her bench, trying to find something to occupy herself with.
John respects her request initially, but after a few minutes of seeing that she's actually definitely got nothing to fucking do, he'll pull off his old shield and kind of like set it over by the billows, I guess.
I I don't need that shield anymore in case you want to, I don't know, use it for scrap metal or fiddle with it. You seem like you need some fiddling. I'll shut up.
What type of shield does he provide to me?
It's the beat to fuck regular ass kite shield he started the campaign with.
Oh. It's got a lot of bullet holes in it.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you did mend it, so it actually has no bullet holes in it.
Right. I didn't do a very good
This
job
used to have a
mending
lot of
this.
bullet holes.
There's a lot of miscolored spots.
Anyway, the box where we found your book and the rest of our items had a nicer one.
What are you trying to do, Blake? What are you rolling for, my friend?
Corey, you feel Choom's presence in your mind fade away for a second. John, you're not as attuned to it, don't really notice. Dandon and Elias, you hear Choom Huh. Well, they're kind of hitting it off upstairs. John, John hit her with this like, looks like you could use some fiddling line. I don't know. Uh, and with that 3 roll, Corey and John, you hear it's like the volume has been turned down, but you do hear Choom say this in each of your heads as well. I don't know. Maybe like give him some space upstairs.
John just rubs his brow
I
and like
wouldn't.
just
I wouldn't go up there if I were you.
Corey's shoulders start shaking as she's leaning over this kite shield before she just starts bursting into laughter. Just like hollering, like snort laughter.
Oh shit! I did. Oh, wrong channel.
Oh my god.
You have to admit
Oh.
he's he's getting better.
He's dedicated.
Oh no, he's making you guys like him.
Oh no! His Chumbata charm. I will still sell him to the Urge.
Yeah.
For 1 corn chip.
for a single corn chip.
And a piece of cheese. While that's happening, whatever that is, Dandon will find themselves over to the little hammocky area and just kind of hop up and start messing with a few things, sorting out my pouch, and then I think about something and I take off the hood and the scarf and I find a reflective surface, and I attempt to thaumaturgy my eyes, my disguise. And as I'm concentrating on making my eyes a different color, just to make sure I can still do it,
Mhm.
because I'm getting everything together. It starts happening, and then as I'm concentrating on it, the skin around my eyes starts to look healed and across my face, and then my hair starts to grow back, and I'm like, whoa, 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 and this like just keeps going over until I look like I did beforehand. Okay, that's really weird, and I like stop concentrating on the thaumaturgy, and I'm busted Dandon again. Oh. And I will cast Disguise Self on myself. And look like I did when they all first met me.
Awesome. Dandon, what's your passive perception?
Pretty good.
Wait.
18.
Yeah. You throw the disguise self up, and pretty pleased with it. But you noticed, especially when you were kind of like flitting back and forth between the thaumaturgy and the disguise and
Mhm.
everything, like as you were returning to your actual state, the gold of your eyes has like a ring of silver light around the pupil now.
Oh. That's weird. I will focus on that, or try to figure out what that's about. That silver ring. Because I've seen it in with my magic as well, right?
Yeah, some of the light is this silver instead of the gold. As you focus on that, sacrifice whispers in the back of your mind again.
Sacrifice. Okay. Okay. And I think knowing what is to come and how very dangerous everything has already been, I think Dandon is going to focus as much of that remaining protective power from Miklas and just form a layer of protection around myself. I have Armor of Shadows, which allows me to cast Mage Armor indefinitely.
Mm-hmm.
I will bump my AC permanently to 16.
Sounds good. So you wrap yourself in this last sign of Miklas's mercy around you. It feels comforting. Reminds you of the first comforts that Miklas bestowed on you in a boat, leaving your home. Well,
At some point, after the laughter dies, Corey will sit against the window and light her pipe. I have a question for you.
I'm more pliant to answers.
Dandon is angel blood.
Most probably.
Where do you think it comes from?
Well, I assumed the Redeemer. Given the general relationship they had so far.
That would be your first assumption, right?
and then give me a stealth check.
But what if there's more?
What if?
What if the Imperium knows more than we do?
It would be likely that any organization knows more than we do.
Well, of course it'd be more likely than any organization. Of course, right. They're all working together in some way.
All scratching each other's backs, so we need to grovel. But, what are you trying to imply?
They have just so much potential. Just natural magic. A 14-year-old should not be able to keep up with us.
I mean, I don't know about yourself, but, my age has been starting to show.
I definitely feel it in my hands. I don't know. I think that all of this chaos has put me on edge. I saw questionable things on the other side of that orb.
Where exactly did it send you?
Somewhere deep into space.
Huh.
And I kind of like give her a once over, probably noting the burn marks about the wrists. At the very
The
least.
wrists, and then there's one that goes around her neck. And around her ankles, as she's sitting here, you can see.
What were you chained?
That new connection I have with Choom. You're right. He's right that without his help, I would have suffocated. But he's not the one who casted the magic. I just kind of used him like a power bank. And used my body as a teleportation circle.
Huh. And I'm assuming that's, atypical?
Yes.
Sounds pretty, painful, if I'm being honest.
All of the bones in my body broke, and then I woke up in a sphere of annihilation. So yeah, it was pretty painful.
Sounds pretty up there.
I saw something. On the other side of that rift. And I think it's a warning. And I was taught always to question everything, especially the divine. Entities that had superior control over things that we couldn't even fathom. Their lack of a role, aside from that of the seraphs and the devils, have made it easier to argue the idea that they existed in the first place. But they do. And I think they're coming back to Terra. And whatever they were fighting out there is coming back with them.
So I admittedly struggle to imagine what that would mean for the rest of us.
I don't know what more it could mean. I mean, it could take eons before they even make it back here, depending on where they're at. And we obviously have more important things to be concerned about.
Aurelia, this is fairly important information.
Well, who can we go to? Who would believe us that it even happened?
Hopefully the same sets of incredibly well-studied wizards were already on a continent-wide
Right.
journey
Yes.
to face and see. They might have some answers. Or at the very least be able to do far more than some folks like we can.
I know what Choom is.
What is Choom, Coralia?
He's a very ancient lich, a magic user that was purposely sealed away because of something heinous he did with souls. I don't know more than that, and neither does he. I'm concerned that we have a ticking time bomb in our heads, and that's why I'm trying not to focus on this ancient prophecy that might be.
What makes you worried Choom is a time bomb?
I'm worried that if we do what he asks and put all the pieces back together again, that little side comment of what he would do to Terra won't be much of a side comment anymore. I know we don't really have a choice whether or not we can trust the Theurge, but I feel like we have nobody in our corner.
Well, that's not true necessarily. We had an angel in our corner. And I told Dandon as much this morning, and I meant it when I said it. I don't know if death is as all-encompassing for entities like that as it is for us. I'm just saying, if the Lady of Mercy felt you were worth pulling out of that sphere, well, maybe there is something we can do about it. But there's nothing we can do about it here in this tower. So those are conversations for a different day. But you met the gods. You know, the ones that left this
That
pitiful
have
rock.
no recorded history, written or story-wise, aside from the fact that they'd vanished. Yeah. Not met them. Met one of them? I'm pretty certain. No real corporeal body. 4 arm-like appendages made of starlight. Or more of like made of a nebula.
That's a lot to take in.
If I knew a name, I would give it to you, but there is no recorded history of them. Unless the Theurge hid it.
Well, it seems like a good thing that we're going to be going to 3 very specific Theurge renegades, isn't it?
Indeed. And I will take a long drag off of my pipe.
It's, the whole time you have been talking to him about this, John has not been partaking. He stopped. Like, he intentionally quelled his pipe when you started talking about some actual serious shit. And he takes that as his cue to light it up again.
As the two of you light up your pipes, you look up at the ceiling, look up at the stars arrayed there. Ceiling magically enchanted so that you can observe the stars as they are above. As you look up at them, Corey and John. Corey, the memory of your time amidst the stars plays through your mind, and you hear that voice again, carried by the wind. A wind that was not a wind, but passed through you all the same. Look to the stars. See in them the signs. And as the two of you smoke and gaze, it takes you a moment before you realize that something is missing. A star shines no more. And that's where we'll end the session for today.
Ooh.